Jesus heals you tonight. Sleep listening to this prayer. 7 nights to receive your miracle ball. There is something powerful about the night. The night is not just a time for rest. It is a time for divine intervention. When the world becomes quiet, heaven often speaks the loudest. When your body lies still, your spirit becomes more attentive. And tonight, you are not here by accident. You are here because something within you knows it is time for healing. Healing is not a distant promise. Healing is not reserved for a select few. Healing is the nature of God. It is His desire, His intention, and His will for you. You must understand this. Sickness, pain, and brokenness were never part of your original design. You were created whole. You were created complete. And anything that contradicts that wholeness is an intrusion, not your identity. Healing is not something you must chase as though it is far away or reserved for a special moment. It is something deeply rooted in who you are. From the very beginning, you were designed with wholeness in mind. Every part of your being, your body, your mind, and your spirit, was created to function in harmony, in strength, and in balance. This means that brokenness, sickness, and pain are not your natural state. They are interruptions, not definitions. Too often, people begin to identify with their struggles. They say, my illness, my anxiety, my condition. And without realizing it, they give ownership to something that was never meant to belong to them. But you must shift your perspective. What you are facing is not who you are. It is something that has come against you, not something that was built into you. When you begin to understand this, something changes internally. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start recognizing yourself as someone designed for restoration. Healing then becomes less about hoping for a miracle someday and more about reconnecting with the truth of your original design. Your body has an incredible capacity to respond to alignment. Your mind has the ability to renew itself, and your spirit is always reaching toward truth. The challenge is not whether healing is possible. The challenge is whether you are willing to agree with it. Alignment is powerful. When your thoughts, your beliefs, and your expectations begin to match what is true about you, you create an environment where healing can take place. This does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing not to let pain define your identity. It means waking up even in discomfort and saying to yourself, this is not who I am designed for wholeness. That declaration begins to reshape how you think, how you feel, and even how your body responds. There is also a quiet but powerful shift that happens when you stop resisting and start realigning. Resistance often comes from fear, the fear that things will never change, the fear that what you feel now is permanent. But alignment is rooted in trust. It is the decision to believe that your current condition is not your final reality. And when you choose that belief, you open the door for transformation. Healing does not always happen instantly or dramatically. Sometimes it begins in ways you cannot see. It starts in your mindset, in your attitude, in your willingness to let go of old labels and embrace a new identity. As you continue to align yourself with the truth that you were created whole, your perspective shifts, your hope rises, and your expectation grows stronger. And where there is expectation, there is movement. You are not trying to become whole. You are returning to it. That is the difference. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It is about restoring who you were always meant to be. Faith does not usually arrive in a single dramatic moment. It is developed over time through consistent exposure to truth. What you allow into your mind repeatedly begins to shape how you think, how you feel, and ultimately how you live. The human mind is designed to respond to patterns. When you hear something once, it may inspire you briefly, but when you hear it again and again, it begins to settle into your subconscious. It moves from being an idea to becoming a belief. This is why repetition is so powerful. It is not empty routine. It is the process through which truth becomes rooted in you. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are being influenced by repetition. Negative thoughts, past experiences, and even the words of others can replay in your mind until they feel like facts. Over time, those repeated messages can build doubt, fear, and limitation. But the same principle works in your favor when you intentionally choose what you listen to. When you consistently expose yourself to words of faith, healing, and restoration, you begin to overwrite the old patterns. You replace fear with confidence, uncertainty with expectation, and weakness with strength. Listening nightly creates a rhythm. It signals to your mind and spirit that this is important, that this is something you are choosing to build your life around. As you lie down and allow those words to enter your thoughts, something deeper is happening. Your conscious mind may rest, but your subconscious continues to absorb. In that quiet space, truth begins to take root more effectively because it is not competing with distractions. Night after night, those seeds are being planted, and with time they begin to grow. Belief is not formed by chance. It is formed by what you repeatedly accept as truth. If you hear that healing is possible once, you may feel hopeful. But if you hear it consistently, you begin to expect it. Expectation is the bridge between faith and reality. It changes how you approach each day. Instead of waking up with doubt, you wake up with anticipation. Instead of focusing on what is wrong, you start noticing what is improving, even in small ways. There is also a sense of discipline involved in repetition. Returning each night requires intention. It requires you to prioritize your growth over your comfort, your faith over your feelings. Some nights you may feel strong and encouraged, while other nights you may feel tired or discouraged. But it is in that consistency, especially when it is not easy, that faith is strengthened the most. Each time you show up, you are making a statement that you are committed to transformation. Over time, what once felt like effort begins to feel natural. The words you hear repeatedly start to echo in your own thoughts. You begin to speak differently, think differently, and respond differently to challenges. This is how faith becomes a part of you, not just something you visit occasionally. And as your belief grows stronger, so does your capacity to receive. Because what you truly believe, you make room for in your life. In this way, repetition is not just about listening. It is about becoming. It is about allowing truth to shape you from the inside out until your faith is no longer fragile, but firmly established, ready to receive everything that has been prepared for you. There is a natural instinct in all of us to fight, to push harder, and to try to fix everything through effort. When pain enters your life, whether physical, emotional, or mental, the immediate response is often to resist it with all your strength. You analyze it, you worry about it, you try to control every possible outcome. But in doing so, you can unknowingly create tension within yourself. Your mind becomes restless, your body tightens, and your spirit grows weary. The more you struggle, the heavier it can feel. This is where a deeper truth must be understood. Healing is not activated by striving, but by surrender. Surrender is often misunderstood as weakness, but it is actually a position of strength. It is not giving up. It is letting go of the illusion that you must carry everything on your own. It is the decision to release control over what you cannot change and to trust that there is a greater power at work beyond your own effort. When you surrender, you are not abandoning hope. You are shifting the responsibility from your limited ability to a limitless source. There are certain things in life that human effort alone cannot resolve. You can do everything within your capacity, seek help, make adjustments, take steps toward improvement. But there comes a point where effort reaches its limit. Beyond that point is where surrender begins. It is in that space that true healing often takes root. Because when you finally stop striving, you create room for peace. And peace is not just a feeling, it is an environment where restoration can begin. Holding on too tightly can block what is trying to flow into your life. When your thoughts are consumed with control, fear, and uncertainty, it becomes difficult to receive anything new. But when you release that grip, even slightly, something shifts. Your breathing slows, your mind quits, and your body begins to respond differently. You move from tension into rest, from resistance into openness, and it is in that openness that healing power can move freely. Surrender also involves trust. It is choosing to believe that even when you do not understand the process, something meaningful is happening. It is saying, I may not have the answers, but I trust that I am not alone in this. That trust does not eliminate challenges instantly, but it changes how you experience them. Instead of being overwhelmed, you begin to feel supported. Instead of being anxious about every detail, you begin to rest in the assurance that things are being handled beyond what you can see. There is a quiet transformation that happens when you practice surrender consistently. You stop measuring everything by immediate results and start recognizing subtle shifts. You notice moments of calm where there used to be panic, moments of hope where there used to be doubt. These are signs that something is working beneath the surface. Healing is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is gentle, gradual, and deeply rooted. It may not look like anything has changed yet, but that does not mean nothing is happening. One of the greatest challenges in any journey of healing is learning to trust movement that you cannot immediately see. We often measure progress by visible signs, by how we feel in the moment, or by how quickly circumstances shift. But true transformation does not always begin on the surface. In many cases, it starts quietly beneath the visible layer, in places you cannot track with your senses. This is why it is so important to understand that your miracle is not waiting to begin. It is already in motion. The moment you made the decision to believe, to listen, and to open yourself to healing, something shifted. That decision was not small. It was the starting point of change. Too often, people delay their expectation because they are waiting for proof. But the reality is that movement often precedes evidence. Just because you cannot yet see the full result does not mean progress is not unfolding. Seeds grow underground long before they break through the surface, and in the same way, healing can be developing within you even when everything appears the same on the outside. Consistency plays a powerful role in this process. Returning night after night, listening with intention, and choosing to remain open builds something within you. It builds expectation. And expectation is more than wishful thinking. It is a confident anticipation that something is happening and will continue to happen. When expectation grows, it begins to influence how you think, how you feel, and how you respond to your situation. You stop approaching each day with uncertainty and begin to carry a quiet confidence that things are shifting in your favor. There is also a compounding effect to consistency. Each night is not separate from the last. It adds to it. What you received yesterday is strengthened today, and what you receive today prepares you for tomorrow. Over time, this creates momentum, and momentum has a way of accelerating change. What once felt slow begins to feel steady, and what felt uncertain begins to feel assured. This is how unseen progress becomes visible. It is important not to interrupt this process with doubt. Doubt often tries to convince you that because you do not see immediate results, nothing is working. But doubt only focuses on what is missing, while expectation focuses on what is developing. When you choose expectation, you are aligning yourself with the process rather than resisting it. You are allowing what has already started to continue without interference. As you move through each of the 7 nights, remind yourself that you are not starting over each time. You are building. Every moment you listen, every time you choose to believe, you are reinforcing the movement that has already begun. And there will come a point where what has been happening internally begins to show externally. It may come in subtle improvements, a shift in how you feel, or a breakthrough you did not anticipate. However it appears, it will be the result of what has been in motion all along. So do not rush the process and do not underestimate it. What is happening now matters, even if it is quiet, even if it is gradual. Your miracle is not a distant event. It is a present reality unfolding step by step. And as you remain consistent, your expectation will continue to rise. And that expectation will open the door for what you have been believing to fully manifest in your life. Tonight is not just a moment, it is a turning point. You have heard the truth, and now the choice is yours. Will you carry on with doubt, or will you step forward in faith? Healing has already begun, even if you cannot yet see it. Every word you receive, every night you commit, is building something powerful within you. Do not underestimate what consistency can do. So here is your call to action. Return tonight and for the next 7 nights with intention. Do not just listen, believe. Do not just hope, expect. Create an atmosphere of peace, quiet your mind, and allow these words to settle deep within you. Stay committed even when it feels slow. Your miracle is not out of reach, it is unfolding. Now step into it fully and let your faith carry you forward.